Hello and welcome back. We are here continuing our Siam run in the Victoria Tweaks mod. As per our sort of vote on Patreon, was decided we would play Siam. Last episode, we did rumble with the Dutch East Indies a little bit, and we might be rumbling again with them this episode. What we are kind of doing is we are expanding in a way that is not fully optimal, but instead much more organic. So, for example, we haven't taken South Africa. We're just getting into things, and I think what we want to do is we want to, continue to reduce autonomy in our subjects, generate a little bit of infamy that way, but I think that there's not too many other people we can go for. I think we can go for Bhutan. Oh, they're already a subject, and so it looks like we kind of only have the choice of moving into the Raj, moving into the Heavenly Kingdom, and going after the Dutch East Indies in terms of our expansion, per our rules where we're only allowed to expand adjacent. We could, fight Spain, I suppose, to, conquer the Philippines, but right now we're not left with too many choices in avenues of expansion unless we want to, move through some of these guys. We could go after Burma and Dynam, but the thing we're really waiting for here is we are trying to get our, power ranking up high enough so that we can just subjugate them. So maybe what we'll do is we'll build up our army a little bit, but we have so much stuff in the queue that we really want to get done, like ports and railroads for infrastructure to increase MAPI, as per the Victoria Tweaks mod, where they actually do this. So if we could come down and we take a look, we hover the port, we can see that it's giving 5% market access price impact. This is also giving 5% market access price impact, and so there's a lot of kind of critically important stuff, but maybe we'll just, look to increase this army. Just put it at the front, get a little bit more army power projection here, going, and try and get our prestige high enough that we can just subjugate Dynam and Burma, which has kind of been the plan this entire time. Alright, so we just pick up medical degrees and egalitarianism simultaneously. What had happened is we had researched egalitarianism up to 10k progress, and then it required 12.5k, but as soon as we finish medical degrees, this 12.5k is no longer ahead of time and comes down to 10k, and we just get egalitarianism instantly. We also are working into pharmaceuticals, which is going to be pretty good for us, coming on in, especially, the health systems. So the health systems might be a little bit different in Victoria Tweaks mod, so I guess we should probably take a look. But, the improvement of, here's just pollution effects minus mortality, this is mortality per wealth, and this is just minus 5% mortality. I guess there's no standard of living increase, so maybe this actually isn't worth rushing like we kind of thought it was for a second. Because the really big one was we wanted that standard of living increase, but it looks like that is taken off in this mod, and so maybe our strategy is a little bit different. Maybe we even want to go for something like labor movement to try and get, no, that's not going to work. So I think we'll actually come in and maybe go for something a little bit different, maybe intensive agriculture into nitroglycerin. We have a lot of places with sulfur. And so this is maybe going to be good for us. It looks like we got some things here. What is this? Oh my god, removes all the effects from difficult terrain? Okay, that is something interesting. Okay, so I think we're actually going to push for that. So we're going to create a queue that is largely around that, because that is going to be a pretty significant, penalty that we are just kind of incurring here. As far as expansion goes, we've decided to just annex everything that where gold can appear, which includes North Borneo, of which there's a little bit right here, as well as just kind of cashing in what we have gotten off of these guys as native 10 construction. Everyone gets 10 construction. We are starting to get to the point where their 10 construction is proportionally less construction relative to our construction than it was before, and we really want to try and push up to the point where we can, get to this unrecognized major power so that we can subjugate both Burma and Dynam. And so the best or easiest way for us to do this is to annex these guys and build military, of which we're kind of doing both of that. We're building up a little bit of military here, just kind of one step at a time rather than adding construction. In theory, it's a little bit better for us to build, boats. Boats are a little bit more efficacious at, cranking this up. And so I'm hoping after we build this little snippet of military we have here, the 2 naval bases and 3 barracks, and they recruit up all the way, and we annex this guy, that maybe we can get into the next power tier rank, something like this. We could also, increase military wages to give us more prestige from army power projection, but I don't really think that's the biggest source of our prestige, so I think that's just going to move the needle a couple of points. Like if we have our prestige here, and we can see from army power projection is 32, so plus 20%. It's not nothing, but it's going to get us over the hump if we're already in like the mid 180s, something like this. And so, but we're hoping to discover gold. This is also probably another reason to go nitroglycerin, because it increases the resource discovery chance. And if we discover gold in West Borneo, North Borneo, this will be pretty good for us, because obviously gold is an insane resource, and we are also making use of actually, mining the gold here. Why don't we actually put one of these closer to the front here and get going? It is the 32 weeks, but because there's turmoil there, but I think gold is a good enough resource that we'll just kind of do it like this, and that'll be good for us. So we just get a movement for census suffrage popping up here, and we're not really that deep into no migration controls. While no migration controls is preferable here for us, I think what we're going to do is we're going to actually come off of this and go for census suffrage, because we need the movement to go for census suffrage, because without the movement, what's going to end up happening is we're just going to end up getting illegitimate, because the landowners. Now, the landowners are not so strong that we can't beat, or we can win the revolution, but unfortunately we cannot pass any laws while that's going on. But if we get on to census suffrage, maybe the combination of census suffrage and landed voting is going to be small enough, or sorry, maybe the combination of census suffrage and monarchy is going to be such that we can maintain a legitimate government after defeating them in a revolution and look to pass some stuff, namely getting off of traditionalism. We want to go laissez-faire. We would just try and pass laissez-faire right now, but this will instantly force a rev, wherein we will not be legitimate enough with any combination of the industrialists to actually pass laissez-faire. And so a bit lucky for us to get this movement, so we're going to try and make use of it. We're going to cancel no migration controls, and we will go for census suffrage here, which is going to make everyone upset, but it doesn't even make the landowners upset enough to rev. So I guess we can just try and pass this without it, and we will have an 18% chance, so hopefully that gets through, and this way it'll push a lot more clout into the hands of other people other than, the monarchy, and so this will help us to progress here as we are looking to finish up the annexation of Belungan. Someone would like to talk to a manager, because there is in fact a Karen uprising going on. Also, we have, kind of just continued to annex more and more of our subjects. We are foregoing this, small amount of construction, or 10 construction is really not that small relative to what we got going on, but we are kind of cashing in on all this construction that has gone on in these places in order to try and juice up our economy to the size where we can get there. And we're almost there, at 191 without paying high military wages. When we turn on the high military wages, we're literally one off, and so we're just going to continue to push Navy up a little bit, just like one at a time until we get there, which should be, relatively shortly. Also, just that tech itself maybe can push us over the edge. Probably not. We're probably not anywhere near a high enough production of that for it to be, pushed. Actually, oh my god, it went up. It went up from 202 to 205. No, why'd the average go up? But we are, we'll just continue to pay them high, so that as soon as we pip it, we actually will need to maintain it once we pip it, actually. And so we can't just, we'll want to get enough of a buffer so it doesn't break war goals, but this is kind of the thing we're looking for. We're looking to just kind of get that last little bit in there. Hopefully, we got some construction of like some fishing wharves and this type of stuff. We might even be a leading producer of logging, so maybe pushing that up will help. And then also when we finish the railways giving us MAPI, that will improve our GDP quite a bit. And so we do have some stuff coming down the pipeline. And also, I was hoping that we had a decent amount of infamy decaying, but we don't. It's really, really tough when you're not utilizing the rest of the world to expand, to maintain enough infamy to, like, do something useful. Like, we can't take any kingdom, states off of Heavenly Kingdom, unless they just declared bankruptcy, actually. Oh, they just declared bankruptcy. Shoot, we might have to fight them. This actually makes a lot of sense. 2K versus 1.3K. That's not that big a difference. We can do a bunch of cheese to increase our conscripts. We're going to have to take a look at this. Alright, so what we can do is we can put down a ton of enlistment efforts in order to dramatically increase the amount of conscripts we can raise, and we can do that in a couple of states. So we're just taking a look here. We're going to click on, our infantry, and we're going to look, hey, where do we have a lot? And we see we have a lot in Malay, Chiang Mai, Nakhon, and Bangkok, and so we're going to increase those. We're going to leave it off in Laos, because Laos we actually have, a combination of iron and coal, so we don't want to disrupt that, and instead we're going to put down enlistment efforts in Malaya, Chiang Mai, Bangkok, and etc. So here, do we not have enough for one more? We don't have enough for one more. I think we'll take it down to Malaya. We could get rid of a consumption tax. I don't think we're going to want to do that because we're going to need to we're going to need a lot of income. So now if we come in here, we can kick up a way more conscripts. And so this is what we're going to do. We're probably going to add, max out all of these conscripts and then get ready for a bit of a rumble here with the Heavenly Kingdom. Because I think we can win this war. It's a little bit close. Well, actually, it's not that close. With this minus 90% penalty, this should be a slog, or it should be kind of a wipe. Just the thing is this will decay over time, and so we cannot rely on this for too long just at the very beginning. And also at the very beginning, we are going to have the problem of we're not going to have all the conscripts raised. And so just as soon as we start the play, we do want to fully max out all of the conscripts here. So we're going to get that all situated and ready to go. Okay, so we have set up all of our conscripts and we're ready to go. We're getting plus 100 battalions here. This is going to be our primary army. We're getting plus 9 here. This is going to be a secondary army that we're probably going to just defend front on up here, but we are going to secondarily use it maybe to do a landing, and so we wanted this little bit of flexibility. This is going to be our army that is going to be defending against landings. We have 4 conscripts coming back in. Actually, we were going to merge this with the second army, but let's actually merge this with the National Guard, and we're going to send all these troops over here just to protect against landings, because China is very likely to try and land us here. We do want to merge them, of course, and then this is our landing army. It's the only point of this is we're going to use this to distract the enemy. We're going to try and land back here, and they should move troops to the HQ, and so this 6 unit will likely be able to pull more guys off the front than it is itself. Like, it's going to pull more than 6, and if it doesn't, then it just gets in and it gets to push for free very quickly because of rapid advance. We'll probably recruit up some more generals, but this is our current setup here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go for the cleanest border here, which is not normally how we would play, but we're going to go for Guangdong. The best state to take would probably be Fujian. This is going to be our primary war goal here. And so we're going to do it. Proposed trade agreement, I don't think so, not anymore. We're going to go after Guangdong, which is going to give us a hefty amount of infamy. And then, as part of this, when they say no, they say, what are you talking about? That's our territory. We will have a liberate country, and we will liberate Yunnan, which Yunnan is 3 very strong states right here, and we will hope to subjugate later Yunnan. Now, it's important to emphasize, look, our GDP, look at your GDP. Now look at me. Now look at your GDP. Our GDP is only 16 million. If we take a look at Guangdong just by itself, just this single state by itself, 6 million. And so this is going to be an absolute huge come up. And we've just kind of been trying to keep an eye on, what's going on in terms of declared bankruptcy. But this is an absolute ton of modifier. I think we're going to start off pushing straight away, but just a little bit slowly. Do we have anyone with any sort of good... I wish we had someone with a little bit of a better modifier. So this is exactly what we're looking for. We're going to heavy barrage, which is a slow advancement. And so we're going to look to, kind of push slow on this front, but we're going to raise all the conscripts. Push slow initially. We're going to mobilize and raise all the conscripts here. And this is going to get very expensive. So we're probably going to have to pause construction again. I think we did that in the war that we did with the Dutch East Indies, but here we don't actually have that much buffer. So this is going to be really expensive. We might have to downsize construction, which is a little bit awkward because we are going to try and pass a law that would rev us, and so we'll probably try and pass a much more conservative law. These guys are merging, and so we are kind of off and away here, into this war, and they are somewhat likely to back down. We're going to make this primary. We're going to add war reparations, typing war reparations. And the reason why is relative strength of mobilization is really high. They're taking loans. They're in bankruptcy. They have turmoil, but 110 minus. And so they might back down just, to avoid having to pay the war reparations, which we would be A-okay with because this is going to be an expensive war for us too. We get census suffrage, big nice. But we are going to look, this is just a -4, and it's even better than this. And so we are just conscripting on up really, really quickly. We got a 10 and an 8. Now, we are going to run out of steam way before they do, and so this war is a little bit risky. It is a little bit dangerous, but we'll see if we can pull it off. So they had everyone assigned to the front, and now that we are trying a naval invasion back here, they're unassigning all these boyos to the front, which of course they're gonna, meat grinder our unit that's trying to land, but we can just cancel the landing just as soon as it starts in, and we will hopefully be able to get, good advancements here. We have the heavy barrage guy. He's gonna go slow, and as soon as we see the first battle here, we probably just cancel out this naval invasion. So they will just have a bunch of guys wasting time as we start to push into them. So just kind of taking a look, what's the difference between offense and defense? We have a pretty good advantage here. We do need to get some cannons on up. We are kind of waiting to see our first guy actually have an offensive battle just to see what this is looking like. But 25 offense into 12 defense, we are going to be in really good shape as long as... So here's the thing, is they are going to be able to replenish their troops way better than we are. And so, in terms of who can tolerate losing more men, they definitely can tolerate losing more men here, and so this is going to be a little bit perhaps tricky. We'll just have this one guy advancing. He's the only one who can scuff it up, and so we're just going to try and get in here, and we are starting to occupy 25%. We are going to set as our strategic objective right here, and then what we are going to do is, as soon as this naval battle finishes... Oh, we're not even winning this naval battle. Perfect. So they just have a bunch of guys, kind of waiting here as we're trying to get in. We'll do all the swaps for the intensive agriculture now. So we are pushing in pretty cleanly with our heavy barrage guy. He has extra kill rate and these sorts of things. And now we will hopefully roll into pushing in Guangxi. This is kind of the hope here. And then they have to reassign France. Ooh, that's a little bit grim for them. But only 39 because they have so many people waiting to try and intercept this second landing we have coming in. They actually beat our navy. And they'll intercept it, but we just won't make any progress here, and we'll instead get to make the progress here. And so this is fine. And also, if they didn't send anyone, we would be able to make the progress and instead get the landing in, which would be catastrophically way, way, way worse for them. And so this is one of the ways you can use Navy to outmaneuver, but it does look like, I am hoping this is pushing into the capital, because this is the capital state of the Heavenly Kingdom, in which case we should actually get a surprisingly clean war while they're still bankrupted here. And of course, they're probably going to bankrupt again. And so let's see. Yes. Okay, so our boy is pushing into the capital, and so all we have to do is just keep on keeping on here. And so this war is going to be a lot cleaner than I thought it was going to be. We also put some fertilizer at the front of the queue in a couple places so we can swap everything on, which is going to dramatically drop the price of grain. And I think since we've been having so many problems with qualifications, what we'll do is we won't export any of that grain, and instead we'll just let our pops eat the grain, which will raise their SOL, which will raise the amount of wealth education access that they are getting, wealth-based education access, because for the really poor pops, making grain cheap was a pretty good way to increase their SOL. So we're expecting to see SOL climb to maybe 9, kind of off the back of this on an average basis. SOL does seem a little bit depressed, relatively speaking to what was going on before. And so let's make these swaps. That should be on canaries. And now we can swap all of these, and we will just say continue, and the fertilizer places should be able to employ up. Now we have a little bit of a problem, apparently. Let's do this for our government reform here, which will still be able to pass laws, and we are trying to get off of, the landowners. The landowners are going to rev here, but I think we win this war before this rev pops off. If we don't, we'll just come off of elected bureaucrats. And it's not too big a deal. And in fact, we're barely getting any progress here anyways, so unless we get a really good tick, we'll probably come off of it in either case. But these guys should be about ready to capitulate here in just a moment. Just as soon as we finish pushing here, we see that they're all coming back here. We don't like that, so what we're going to do is we're going to just try and naval land again, in order to push these guys, kind of back off the front, even though I think we actually are wood chipping them down pretty good clip right now because we have a lot of our conscripts up now, and so maybe this doesn't matter too much, but yeah, 31k into 61k, we're crushing them. They have no defense because they have so many negative modifiers, one of them being the bankruptcy. Like, we couldn't do this without the bankruptcy, but with the bankruptcy, oh, it's absolutely fantastic. This rev's not going to pop off, but what this next elected bureaucrats kind of ticks is going to be kind of important. Well, I think if we're going to force a rev either way, we'll just get the faster enactment time, and we'll just look to see what happens. The enactment time is pretty slow because we're under 50 legitimacy, and so this is a little bit of a problem. Now we have full occupied their capital, so we will get, you know, ticking war score on them, and it looks like they're just kind of, it looks like they're kind of over this, and so we will just get a nice piece here, and we will be able to take this, which will kick us up to major power. Now, we do have quite a bit of infamy, so we actually don't want to subjugate these guys immediately, but now we're probably going to turn inward and try and force a rev. I think if we're going to rev, we don't want to do it off of elected bureaucrats. The problem is we would really want to do some sort of thing with the Industrialists, but we don't have a legitimate-looking government with the Industrialists, and so this is unfortunate. We could maybe try and pass, you know, school or this type of thing. Elected bureaucrats, that's what this guy's supporting. It's just like a little bit of a slog. I don't know why we have such a low chance. These guys endorse, these guys endorse. We must have gotten a negative tick somewhere, but this is going to be absolutely huge for us because we're going to go after Yunnan later. Yunnan has really, really good resources. Specifically, the province of Yunnan is actually incredibly strong. It has a ton of coal and iron, and it also has, you know, opium and rice. It's one of the better China states, and we pick up Guangdong ourselves, and so this is we're going to reset the PMs and stuff here. So, but this is going to be fantastic for us. Like, our GDP. Look at, we need to wait a tick, but our GDP will have just shot, yeah, see, there we go. And, you know, our POPs, same deal. Our POPs more than doubled. And so this is the new world we're living in where we took this. I think we're going to delete all the barracks here, though, or look to delete all the barracks here. The main reason being is if they, you know, have a separatist movement, which they are very likely to, we don't want them to be very strong. So we decided to go after Cambodia first because since they were our rival anyways, they're very likely to side in place against us. And so just kind of avoid a little bit of a headache. And after we subjugate them, we'll probably be going parliamentary republic to try and force a rev and then look to put down the rev. And by forcing a rev here, we will be able to get rid of the landowners. And so things are coming along quite nicely. Looks like, why do we have such a big negative there? Looks like people just didn't feel like going to work today. The soldiers didn't, but we should be able to put this down pretty quickly here. We have a huge military advantage, and now we have a ton of infamy because this is a very expensive subjugation. And also we noticed something. We noticed that we might be able to get recognition a little bit easier than we thought, in that we can only declare plays, you know, in our region, but we can go for liberate Philippines, and then since Spain is a great power, we can go for a demand recognition on them. And so recognition might not be as far off as we had thought, because there's no way we're like liberating British Raj and then you know, getting recognition from the UK, or even you know, actually this is I guess we could liberate Australia. It would be a little bit easier. Also, we noticed that they don't like us very much, so we're going to try and improve relations, but this is going to be kind of something that we are keeping an eye on. If it ever looks really good, we'll just go for liberate Philippines and get you know, recognition. Right now I don't think we have the army to do this. Maybe we even do. Our army is not so much smaller than theirs, but the main critical thing is that we just have to be, well, we would have to push the Philippines because we actually have fronts, but we don't actually have to land Spain. We can just land, you know, this little island here in order to get recognition. Wait, where's the island that Spain controls? Do they not control an island out here? I know they have some islands somewhere, and we just have to land, like, the Canary Islands in order to get recognition, and so this is within the purview of what we should do. Just wanted to remind you, if you're trying to play, like, optimally, you can just declare on Russia and land Alaska. We have not obviously done that, but this is something we are going to be looking to do in the future. Hey, we find ourselves in a revolution. Now, of course, we actually are now able to pass these laws because these guys have lost lost all their clout, or they're completely out and away from government, and so now we can actually pass the law that we've been trying to pass. We'll just stick with this government because these are the two boyos who are actually enabling us to pass the law, and we will put in on fronts. There's going to be a few fronts here. It should be relatively easy because we had taken pains or taken care to downsize most of the military. When we wanted to downsize the military, we downsized it in all places that weren't the capital, and now we are, you know, kind of coming back in, and we have almost all of our military in the capital, and so these revs are super easy to hit. We also don't get border guard too much, which is pretty nice, and so we should be able to, you know, win this relatively easy. And we also have all of our subjects, so these guys only have, you know, 15 battalions. We have our subjects on our side, Etche and these guys, and so this should be a pretty easy war, and all this while we are decaying our infamy, so it doesn't really matter too much, you know, that we have infamy. Now, if someone joins against us, that'll be big cry, big sad. You know, if like the UK joins, this will be incredibly bad. But barring something like that, we should be able to, you know, manage a pretty easy and quick revolution here, and we get path to liberalism, freedom, equality, and brotherhood. Big nice. I don't think. Well, does this just automatically pop when you get a guy? I think we'll just make this guy. Well. We could give this guy Liberal Trailblazer, the pacifist. I don't really like the pacifist, though, so we will make the other guy Radical, which is going to be fine for us. He's not going to be coming on up anytime soon, though, and instead we will get ourselves a nice rev. This should be taken pretty quick. And then, you know, we push in over here, and then it's just easy peasy, lemon squeezy, etc. So we pick up our first company, we also finish the rev, and we're about to pass Parliamentary Republic. That's how things are going. And we have a few options here. We have 64 logging camps, so it's really, really tempting to just, you know, put in the forestries one. I think that's what we're going to do. I thought we would have a level 11 mine by now, but we don't. And so, you know, considering this is the state of affairs, this is probably what we're going to slot in. But we do have, you know, some options that will be kind of coming down the line, and in particular the Djenne textile factory. This is one that is regional to us. There's another one, like I think it's some sort of, I think it's Bangkok Food Company or something like this, that would also be BG Grimm, which requires, it is in Bangkok here, and this would give us, you know, some food industries throughput, which would be, or it would give us the rice and this sort of thing. And so I think we're just going to slot in, for now, we're just going to slot in on the logging. It is a little bit tempting to go for the gold mines. Normally gold mines would be better if we were like playing super meta and had gone for South Africa, but we haven't done that, and so I think we're just going to do this, which is going to cause a huge glut of wood. And so we're going to see if we can maybe trade some wood, because I'm guessing that the wood price is going to, once we kind of get that throughput kicked in, I'm guessing once that, are we really exporting wood to everyone? But yeah, you can see the price dipped. We don't want the price to dip, but, you know, our trade routes will be able to handle this. And so that'll be fine. Now here, we're going to start going ahead of time for dynamite. Main reason is to remove these difficult terrain modifiers from our stuff, but also pump jacks is going to be relatively good for us early on here. We do have a little bit of a thing where, so maybe we actually want to go chem bleaching. Let's go chemical bleaching into mastication here. That way, I think that this is actually a little bit better. This is going to force us to, well, this is going to not spread to us, but rubber tools are insane. We actually do have quite a bit of rubber in Southeast Asia. You know, there's some that's been already discovered down here. We haven't discovered it all, but this is going to be actually pretty good for us. Rubber tools are kind of insane, and then we kind of, after this, we will want to go dynamite afterwards, I think. Something like this, and maybe just look to not build where we have, you know, those penalties too much. As far as society techs, there are some society techs we're interested in, like pharmaceuticals, but that's natural spreading. Dialectics is going to be useful sometime down the line. We could go for joint stock companies for a second company, but we didn't really have one that we were super enthusiastic about slotting in, you know, not having yet a high enough level iron mine. Although this place is finally employing up, so we'll add a couple levels at the back of the queue, which will be pretty nice. We also did clear out, or we're starting to clear out some radicalism, so this is going to be good for us. Overall, things are coming along quite nicely. We are about to get Parliamentary Republic, almost certainly, and We've subjugated Dainam, and we have a plan to get recognition. We're not going to be doing it just quite yet. I think we need a little bit more time for rebuilding and this sort of thing, rather than, being able to go for it straight away. But it is going to be something that's coming through pretty soon, going for Spain for our recognition rather than the UK. We were thinking we were going to have to get it from the UK. Now, we are going to have to get some things from the UK, namely these treaty ports are going to... they have 2 treaty ports in Malay, which is kind of annoying, and then Singapore. And then, Karen, this is all kind of in our region of what we want, but we do get, parliamentary republic here now. And so this is kind of going to be the start of a new age where we are going to be hyper-legitimate, hurrah! And also, we're going to do some of this and go laissez-faire, because we want laissez-faire, because laissez-faire is really good. We're tired of traditionalism. This, of course, will radicalize the landowners, but we don't care. I don't even think they're strong enough to rev, and I don't think they will get strong enough to rev now that we're a parliamentary republic on census suffrage. I think that's kind of be the end of them. We will be looking to switch up a lot of things. I mean, eventually we are going to want to go on to total separation. We could even do that right now, at least freedom of conscience. That way we can actually put in schools to help with the qualifications. But I think laissez-faire is a little bit more of a priority where our economy will get to pop off. But I think we're going to conclude the episode today. Today, 2 very significant things happened. We forced a rev in order to, get through some of these things, and we will be getting through more stuff. But also, we fought the Heavenly Kingdom in order to release Yunnan, which is going to be a fantastic expansion spot, later, or perhaps next, where we're going to make them a tributary, and then look to slowly annex them. And also, and also we took Guangdong, which is just a ton of juice for us in terms of this is giving us, if you just look at it as something that's just doing its own thing, it has 6 million GDP. Part of your, minting is based on GDP. If we look at our minting, the amount we're getting for our GDP, so this 6 million is kind of representing just 6K free money for us, just off the minting alone, not even considering anything else, and so this is going to be pretty valuable. We are running a pretty deep negative balance, and so we're probably going to pause construction. We have an investment pool of 1 million, and so why don't we pause construction, actually, and let the investment pool take over, but this is going to be... this is going to be the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube algorithm thing, and other than that, have a good day.